back on the grind again on the hood. And let's show you this first. Remember I had some filler here, and it was for this little dimple. You see that one right there that I missed. And so I got that taken care of. And then for here, you remember the big glob. I sanded it down and I got it really nice. All this is nice. This goes with the body and everything. But I didn't like over here, there was still kind of a drop that I didn't like. So I went ahead and did my third application. Basically what I want to do is, let's see if you can see it. You see in the shadow, well, you really can't, yeah, you can kind of see the shadow, how it goes, and then it kind of dips a little bit. Well, I wanted to do the same thing. I wanted to go across and then dip right around here. So I wanted to kind of fine-tune that. So that's why I did my third application. So I gotta wait till that dries. And then for the mixing, I use glass, and it's just my preference. I get an 8 by 12 sheet of glass from Home Depot, tape off all the sides with the cardboard that it comes in to give it a little bit more strength. And I always mix my filler on a flat surface, because being that this is glass, it breaks very easily, and it is thin. It's pretty thin. So I can't remember, what is it? It's 3/32 of an inch thin. So you can see it's really easy to clean. I just use a razor blade and I clean it up, and then I use my acetone to really get it nice and clean. So for when I do the mixing, I always leave the rest on the spatula. That way when this is hard, then I know this is ready. So that's just a thing that I do. And I went on my Home Depot run and I got me a dust mask. I got some blue and green tape, some paint sticks, a new gallon of acetone. I just can't live without my acetone. And I got me some of these to try to speed up my sanding, because it took me right about 6 hours to get to the point where you see now. And I want to cut this down a little bit quicker, so I'm going to use these right here. And then here's the mouse sander that I use. It's just a standard Black & Decker mouse sander. And when I buy the paper, I don't buy the mouse sander paper. I buy the Mega Mouse sander paper. It's actually $1 cheaper, and it's slightly larger, so I get more sandpaper for less money. So that's what I do. So I'm gonna have to wait till this dry, and then I'm gonna sand this down by hand, try to get that to the shape I want, and then I'm gonna continue stripping it down. Okay, well, I sanded down this area, and I'm going to show you. I sprayed my wax and grease remover, and now I think I got it. There's that slight curve, and then of course the body line right here, you can see the curve going upwards. But now I got that straight shot right across. You see where the light is? Straight shot. And then I'm going to spray, where's my waxing? I'm going to spray the other side so that we can make a comparison, see if I can get this on film, on the camera. It's a little bit of a glare. Let's see if I can get it over here. But you can see it's a slight curve right there. You can see the light right here. And that's what I was aiming for. Oh, let's put a little more wax and grease remover on there. Is it evaporating? Okay, no. See, you got that curve. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to get that curve. See? There's a curve in the light right around here. See, there's a curve, and then over here I got that curve. And that's basically how I get there. You see the curve? And that's basically how I use the wax and grease remover to give me a sheen so that I can see my work. And then I can go straight across and it's nice and straight. You can see the reflection of light in the body filler. So now let me wipe this off. And then I'll show you the rest of what I did. So I got now the panel down to bare metal, and I used my mouse sander to get it, and you notice that I didn't go all the way to the body line. Now the body line to me are very important. They're what defines the car, in this case the Nova, gives it some character. And I didn't do any of the areas where there would be a body line. So this is a body line, so I didn't do it. I only go right up to it, right here and right here. Now for me to get the paint off of the body line, what I like to use is some acetone, and basically acetone, I put it inside a container that's not going to melt, and so then I get a household Brillo, or not Brillo, scrubbing pad, the green one, and I also buy Scotch-Brite scrubbing pads. Let's see if I have an extra one somewhere in my mess. I had another one. Oh, here it is. You see? Scotch-Brite. And I buy a pack of these and I cut them up into small pieces. The one with the sponge holds the acetone so I can scrub a little bit longer. And then this one, I just have to constantly dip. Let me show you how I actually go about getting rid of the paint on the body line without disturbing the body line. Because if I use the 80 grit on this, I'll probably start cutting into the body line, especially if I use a machine. So I like to do it by hand. So let's get some acetone. I'll show you how I do it. Just a little bit. And then basically just scrub away. See if I can get this to hold. And you can see the paint starting to come off. Now, the longer the acetone is touching the eco, the softer it gets. So basically, I just wet it down, and then you can see it disappearing. And that's how I get rid of the e-coating on the body line areas. And so I go along the whole thing with acetone and the Scotch-Brite pad all the way across until I have a nice clean sheet metal. And then I go with my 80 grit and go ahead and make my 80 grit scratches in preparation for the epoxy. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. And I'll get a shot of it once I get to complete bare metal. Well, I got them scuffed down to bare metal, and you can see the 5 body lines are now clean. And this is with the treatment of the acetone with Scotch-Brite pad. And basically these body lines took me 5 minutes to complete each. This one here took a little longer, and of course the sides took a lot longer. But total for the 5 body lines took me 45 minutes. So it's not a whole lot of time to do, and I ensure that the body lines are nice and the way they're supposed to be. Now, I'm not going to say it's easy. If you look at my face, it's not easy. It's very labor intensive. It's just a lot of work. It's great exercise. And so you can see I now have a nice clean hood, and it's ready for the epoxy. Okay, I'm on the last stages of the wipe down of the panel. Now I'm just giving it a good wipe down. And I get rid of all the metal residue that is on the hood from my 80 grit crosshatch scratching that I did to the panel to fully prep it for the epoxy. And I wiped it down a couple times already, about 4 times. And I keep on until my paper no longer shows too much of the residue from the sanding. Coming out pretty clean. Got to be very clean. You don't want any kind of contaminants on the panel. And even though I'm doing this now, and I'm going to be flipping the hood over so that I can prep the bottom half, I just want to get it clean before flipping it over so that nothing can penetrate and sit on the hood when I'm working on the other side. It's looking good. So you see, it's starting to come down. When I first started, you could see all the residue that's coming off of the panel when I did my sanding. And here is the prepped hood. You can see all the crosshatch sand scratches, and that's to prepare it for the epoxy. That's to give the panel tooth for when the epoxy gets on there. It'll stick nice. I want that foundation layer, which is the epoxy, to be on there really good. So you can see I prepped the whole panel with those 80 grit scratches. So now the panel is ready, and now I proceed to the bottom half. That's the next. Thank you for watching.